So when people think about moving to Austin, Texas these days, sometimes they think about the cities outside of Austin, and one of those cities is actually Georgetown. And Georgetown, Texas has been the fastest growing city 2 years in a row. So today, I thought we'd talk about Georgetown, give you a little more information about it. I'll give you the pros and the cons. Not just that, I'll give you the good, the bad, and the ugly that goes with Georgetown, Texas. So when we're all done with this, you'll have some facts, you'll get my opinion, and you'll know what you need to know about Georgetown. But starting with location, so you need to know where is it at. Well, Georgetown is located just north of Austin and just north of Round Rock. It's about 26 miles from Georgetown to Austin. So it's a nice centralized location. So let's start with the good. Obviously beyond location, which I just talked about, there are so many good things about living in Georgetown. And I'm going to start with something I think is one of the most important, which is the outdoor life. Georgetown has an abundance of outdoor things to do, which is super cool. The San Gabriel River flows right through the heart of Georgetown, and it's one of the bigger rivers. And what you'll find is all along that river, you'll find trails, you'll find parks, you'll see people kayaking and boating and fishing and playing in the water. And so I really think it's a great part of living in Georgetown. I'll highlight a couple of them just for your information, but one is Blue Hole. Blue Hole is actually a natural swim hole that's located right next to downtown Georgetown. Super cool. It's got these beautiful limestone cliffs backdrop. It's got tons of lush vegetation. Great place to go swimming, go wading, or even just like set up some lawn chairs and relax on the shores of the river. I will tell you though, on a hot summer day, you want to get there early because it's super popular. So another great park is San Gabriel Park. A little farther down the river. It is actually one of the largest parks in Georgetown. It's very popular for, of course, the same thing, the boating, the kayaking, the fishing, the wading, but it's also got a lot of play areas, picnic areas, sports fields. So that's the place you'll go on a Saturday and you'll see the kids playing Little League, you'll see the birthday parties happening, and you'll see the people sitting on the bank of the river with their fishing poles doing some fishing. The final park that I love to always highlight when I talk about parks is Gary Park. It's one of the newest ones. It was some land that was donated years ago by a family. It's like 500 and something acres of park, 7 miles of trails that are good for hikers and horses. It's got this cool equestrian center. It's actually also right on the river. It's on the other side of the Georgetown. It's in West Georgetown, but it's right on the river. And it's got a 2.5 acre dog park to go with it, along with all these different playscapes and picnic areas. So lots of great park destinations along the river for people to go enjoy. On top of that, you've got Lake Georgetown, 1,500 acre lake, great for boating, wakeboarding, fishing, swimming. It's got 26 miles of shoreline, so there's lots of camping happening there. They've got designated swim areas and boat ramps for people to go. So on any given day, you'll see boats on the water, you'll see people swimming in the swim areas, and you'll see people camping. And probably the final outdoor thing that I always love to highlight when I talk about Georgetown is Inner Space Caverns. It is something that you have to see to appreciate. Inner Space Caverns is literally just what it sounds like. It's these old limestone caverns that were discovered back in the early 1960s when they were building the freeway that was going through Georgetown. Now, obviously the caverns are thousands of years old. Stalagmites, stalactites. You go 130 feet underground. It's got over 2 miles worth of trails. You'll see fossils from saber-toothed tigers, from woolly mammoths, prehistoric arrows. It's really got a neat history, and it's something I always tell people to go see because you just don't see stuff like that anywhere you go. Hey, do me a favor and click subscribe down below. I talk to people just like you all the time who are looking to move to the Austin area, maybe not live in Austin, maybe live in the communities that surround Austin, but you want the information, you want to know what's going on in the area, you want to know about real estate and what to do, the good and the bad. Well, I try to get those videos out as often as possible to keep people informed just like you, so you know what's going on. So feel free, please subscribe, you can comment down below, you can always reach out to me. I am here to help, that's what I do. So I appreciate you taking the time. Now, if outdoor life isn't your thing, you've also got downtown Georgetown. And downtown Georgetown is this historic town square, like right in the middle is the courthouse. It was actually built like in 1911. It's the center for politics in the Williamson County area, which is where Georgetown is located. It has a long, rich history, but what's cool about it is not just the architecture, It's got this amazing Victorian architecture, but the actual town square surrounding the courthouse are all these restaurants, eatery, different types of eateries, little boutique shops, wineries, pubs. It's an amazing place to go hang out on a Friday evening. They hold festivals there. They have music festivals there. They have a great Christmas festival there. They have the Red Poppy Festival. If you didn't know it, Georgetown, Texas is the red poppy capital of Texas. Why is that? Well, because they have a lot of red poppies. But honestly, it's because every spring in April, during red poppy season, they host this huge red poppy festival. And the festival is, if you haven't seen it, it's very cool. It's arts and crafts for the kids, it's games, it's little, eating places, drinking places. They have this huge parade that goes through the town square. And it's really quite the event that draws people from all around the region to come check it out. Plus, of course, you've got all the beautiful red poppies to enjoy. And academically speaking, Georgetown School District, Georgetown Independent School District, which is kindergarten through 12th grade, is a very solid school district. It's got an overall B+ rating by niche.com. And I always tell people, look, if you want to check out the schools, there are some great actual websites. And I'll put links to them down below, but niche.com, schooldigger.com, where you can actually go dig down deep into where you might actually be living in Georgetown and find out more about those specific schools. But overall, I think it's got 3 high schools, 4 middle schools, like 10 elementary schools. There's 13,000 plus students in the school district. It's a very solid school district for kids. And if you're a family person moving here with kids, obviously I know schools are very important to you. One other quick side note, which is super cool, Southwestern University is located in Georgetown. And Southwestern University is the oldest university in Texas. Southwestern University is a private liberal arts college located in southern part of Georgetown. It's got 1,500 students. It's on a 700 plus acre spread. Just beautiful, scenic, historic. Like I said, it was built back in 1840, so you can imagine the history that goes along with it. Just something, even if you're not in the college scene, just something to definitely go by and see from an architectural standpoint. So when we talk real estate wise, things with real estate obviously fluctuate based on the market, etc. But right now, if we're looking at June of 2023, the median price in Georgetown is in the low 400s. There's about 3 months worth of inventory, which is not high and not low. A couple of years ago, during the height of the pandemic, we had about a week or 2 of inventory. And so now we've got 3 months. That looks pretty good. However, average inventory for real estate is about 5 months. So looking pretty good at 3 months, enough that you have some stuff to choose from. Days on market right now. Typically, houses are staying on the market for about 68 days. And the biggest thing I would say is you see a blend of new construction and resale construction. And with Georgetown, you gotta understand, Georgetown 20 years ago, Georgetown was remote. And now it's definitely not. So there's had to be a lot of building just to keep up with the demand. So we'll talk a little bit later about one of the negatives, but out on Highway 29, where it's all farms, they have put a lot of subdivisions in there to accommodate for this new building. So I would say you see a huge prevalence of new construction in Georgetown, but there's still a solid core. And there's even a lot of really cool old houses in the town square area of Georgetown. So a very diverse real estate offerings in Georgetown for sure. Economically speaking, Georgetown is a solid, thriving community. It actually continues to grow. Like a lot of cities in Central Texas, they tend to attract businesses from other areas. Their biggest business that's coming to town now is called CellLink. It's out of California, and they're going to be providing 2,000 plus jobs to the area of Georgetown. I'm not sure exactly when they're slated to open, but they're building in the north end of Georgetown, kind of where I-35 meets Highway 130, so kind of that northern point of Georgetown. And there's a lot of other businesses that support all that. So Georgetown has this very thriving economy, economically speaking. All right, but it's not all red poppies and sunshine in Georgetown, Texas. And I'll tell you why. And this is good to know. You gotta hear me here. There are probably 3 cons to living or moving to Georgetown, Texas. You should know of. You should be aware of if you're considering it. Okay, number 1, hey, guess what? It is the fastest growing city in the country 2 years in a row. So what does that mean? It means there's a lot of growth happening in the area. And if that's something you're concerned about, If you're thinking long term, like, hey, I don't want to be in some place that's going to keep growing, then this might not be the right choice in Central Texas for you. Going along with that growth, of course, is traffic. And there's two main corridors right now that hit traffic. One is I-35. It goes north to south, so it's the one that connects Georgetown with Austin. And that definitely, especially going through Round Rock, that is one of the tougher stretches of freeway you'll find in this area. The other one, which is super interesting, is actually Highway 29. Highway 29 goes east to west from Georgetown. And what makes Highway 29 challenging is, it was, 10, 15 years ago, Highway 29 just went out through farms. It was nothing but farms. Well, a lot of them farmers sold their land to builders who now built subdivisions because people needed houses and wanted to live in Georgetown. So now when you go around Highway 29, there are many, and I mean many, subdivisions along that stretch of Highway 29. And that has greatly increased the traffic on Highway 29. They are working to fix it, but if traffic is something you're concerned about, you also want to really be careful when you think about moving to Georgetown. And the final thing, the final con on that is actually construction. And it goes hand in hand with what we're talking about, right? So that adds to the traffic. But because it's growing, it feels like just about everywhere you go in Georgetown, there's construction going on. Now, if you can handle those three things, everything else about Georgetown is pretty darn good. You've got a great family environment. If you're a work from home person, honestly, even on Highway 29, who cares? If you don't have to go in during the morning rush, then you're not going to have an issue with traffic. All right, so there you have it. Georgetown, Texas, the pros and the cons to life in Georgetown, Texas. Hey, if I can help you move to Georgetown, Texas, or any other city in Central Texas, feel free to reach out to me. There's actually a link down below where you can schedule a Zoom call and we can discuss what your real estate needs are and help to make that transition to this area as smooth as possible for you. Look forward to meeting up with you, and you all take care.